Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominic Doherty and Drew Fazy.
And we are your local guys.
We're back with another installment of our mayoral race candidates here joining us. Joining us today is Pete Madden. Pete, thanks for being with us today.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good to have you, Pete.
Thanks for having me.
We're great. So just to kind of recap the format, all the candidates are going to get the same questions. Everyone will have the same amount of time. You'll have 2 minutes to answer each question. At the end, Pete, you will get 2 minutes to kind of give a quick overview to the voting public out there. So Drew's going to ask the questions. I'm going to keep the time, and we're going to be as unbiased, right? As I say it right this time, if you watch Keith's one, you'll know, you'll get that joke. Again, we won't really give you any feedback like we normally do. We're kind of just gonna, all right, next question.
Less of a dialogue, more of a monologue.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Well, take it away, Drew.
All right, so let's get started.
Okay.
Pete, first three questions are yes or no answers, just to get the ball rolling a little bit, okay?
All right, no problem.
All right, so number one, should the city implement a resident-only parking permit system for the downtown streets during the summer?
Yes.
Okay, number two, jitney service across the 9th Street Bridge, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, number three, some residents and visitors think that Ocean City is losing a competitive opportunity for places like Summers Point and Margate by not offering alcohol consumption at publicly accessed restaurants. So BYOB in Ocean City, yes or no?
No.
Okay. All right. So on to the questions where you get up to 2 minutes to answer. All right.
Okay.
Okay. The city's 2026 to 2030 capital plan proposes over $42 million in projects for the next 2 years alone, including flood mitigation, the new airport terminal, and pickleball expansions. If a recession or a decrease in state grant funding occurs, how will you prioritize these projects?
Yeah, without a doubt, that's something to keep in mind always. There's not an endless pot of money, so we need to be very responsible with how we spend it. If something does pull back, we definitely have to prioritize the most important things first. Everybody's moved out of the police station, so that police station, to me, is number one, has to get done. The second thing that I would prioritize after that is the airport. We have the generous donation from the Grisbaum family to help to get that moving along. And then the third thing would be the pickleball courts, expansion of that.
Okay. Question number two. Our downtown is thriving, but we still see a ghost town effect from November to March. Some residents have suggested offering tax incentives or rebates for businesses that commit to staying open at least 5 days a week year round and until a later time of day, say 6 or 7 p.m. Would you support using municipal funds to subsidize year-round business operations, or should the market dictate when shops open and close?
So it's a tough question with a bunch of different answers and layers to it. I think that we definitely need to do more helping from a tourism standpoint on the off season in that those winter times to help the downtown thrive for those who stay open. I've got no problem looking into some different avenues that we could go down with the public-private partnerships or some type of tax abatements, things like that, to help the businesses remain open. But we got to be careful of any unintended consequence of doing that. So although I want to make sure we help those businesses, we need to first get the people in town. And that's step one, is from a tourism standpoint, have some community involvement and have some different activities for people to come down to do during those times. And that will help the businesses thrive. So to answer your question, I'm not opposed to looking into something to help the businesses from a government standpoint. But at the same time, the first step is getting the people here. Once we get the people here, that'll help the businesses.
Okay. Question number 3. The backpack rules and the 11 p.m. curfew for minors have helped, but boardwalk business owners still report issues with large groups of teens during peak summer weekends. Given the state's strict laws on how police can interact with juveniles, what is your plan moving forward to keep the boardwalk safe and family friendly without turning the island into a police state that scares away younger tourists?
Without a doubt, there's a balance that's needed for that. The state's imposed some pretty tough regulations, but I think as a municipality, we've worked within the rules to make it best for Ocean City. We need to continue to do that. The past 2 summers have been much less in terms of the beach parties and, shutting down the beaches, which I think was, what we had to do at that time. Every year we need to reevaluate and readjust to the changing environment. So we look at what's happening. We're prepared to adjust and shut down beaches if we need to, but I also don't think it's a bad idea to start to open things up to allow everybody to enjoy and utilize all aspects of the town. So I think that we continue to keep the strong police presence on the boardwalk, which has helped with the seasonal police. And we have the new police annex station right there on 8th Street. I think that's going to help a lot. And we continue to go down that road, working with the police department, but also working with the guests of the town.
Okay. Question number 4. Ocean City and Strathmere recently took the rare step of declaring local states of emergency due to severe erosion that has left some North End homes vulnerable. If federal money doesn't hit Ocean City's bank account by May 1st, is the city prepared to spend its own money to truck in sand? And how might that impact the 2026 or 2027 tax rate?
So we need to have sand on the beaches. The beach and the boardwalk are the crown jewels of Ocean City. If the federal government is not holding up their end of helping us out, one, we need to continue to push for that and work on grant money to get sand in. In the meantime, we're going to do everything we can fiscally responsibly to get as much sand in those areas as we can. So it's something where there's a whole lot that we've got committed capital wise. So to add millions of dollars right out of the budget is going to require a huge tax increase, which I don't think the city is prepared for. So I think it's working with the federal government to make sure that we get the grant money in the sand, and then we do our part, which is a much smaller part to financially to get that done. So I anticipate that the DEP and the Army Corps is going to be in pumping sand this summer. That's what they've committed to, and I feel as though they're going to fulfill that.
Okay. Question number 5. If there was a project presented by the owner of 600 Boardwalk that included public space, amusements, retail, ample parking, and a hotel with a number of stories that was considered a compromise from the original concept presented, could you support such a project? Absolutely.
I'm in favor of the hotel project. I have been from the beginning. We need to take action at that end of the boardwalk. The proposal is from it's a brand that is a proven brand in Cape May County that's coming up here, and I believe that there'll be compromise. But we have to get to the point where we can get to that redevelopment zone in order to compromise and negotiate. So look forward to that happening and moving forward with that site.
Okay. And your final question. For the first time in recent history, voters have 3 options for mayor with experience in local government. What is one specific thing about your leadership style that sets you apart from the other 2 candidates?
I think that maybe the biggest thing is that I'm applying for a job, not a title. Mayor is, the title, but the job is coming in and working with the folks in the community, whether they be year-round residents, second owners, people coming down for the week or for the day. And we're working with all those folks to find out what is the best thing that we can do as as America's greatest family resort to make sure that our town continues to thrive. We need the help of the tourism side of things to make our town work, and that everyone benefits year round from that. So the biggest difference for me is again, I'm looking forward to doing the job. One of the other big differences is I'm probably 10 to 15 years younger than the next youngest person. So I look at things with a little different perspective. I've been around a long time doing government work on city council for 12 years, and I'm looking forward to this next step as mayor to take our town into the 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 years.
Okay. So that's our questions. And now you have 2 minutes, not a second more. Dom's right there on you.
Yep.
2 minutes to 2 minute time is yours.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. And from my previous answers, you know that I don't need 2 minutes. I make decisions and give answers pretty quickly and decisively. And it's another thing that separates me from the other two candidates. I'm not wishy-washy back and forth on things. I give you the answer. I'm excited. I feel it's an honor to be able to actually run for mayor of Ocean City. It's a great town. And in the end, I'm just trying to make my parents proud and be a good example to my kids as to what you can do with the community and give back.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Pete, for your time. I know you're busy
Yep.
between campaigning and running your real estate business and everything else you do with the town.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking the time to sit down with us. This has been the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort.
All right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pete.
Have a great day.